Hi everyone. Now let's talk about the poles of the magnet. See, we have already talked about the introduction. Then we saw the definition of magnet in introduction part itself. Then we talked about special properties of magnet and types of magnet. We also talked about some of the shapes of magnet. All right. Now let's talk about poles of a magnet. Now what do we mean by poles of a magnet? So let's understand. See guys, what happened is that any magnet, magnet has most of the magnetism at the end of it. Okay? And these ends at which the most of the magnetism is there, these ends are called poles, right? So what do we mean by poles? A magnet has most magnetism at the two ends of it, and these ends are called poles. See, what normally as a convention, what we do is these ends are usually referred as south, that is S, and north, that is N. So there are two poles, south pole and north pole. You must have remembered that in our second video, we talked about the properties of magnetism, either in introduction or second, I don't remember. But we talked about the properties of magnet, and in that we saw that when freely suspended, a piece of magnet would always settle at two directions, that is north-south, and that's why these ends at which the most magnetism is there, these two ends are called south, that is S, and north, that is N pole. All right. Now, see, if you just freely suspend any magnet, okay, the end of this magnet that points towards the north is called north pole or north seeking pole. All right. And the other end of the magnet that point towards the south direction, it would be called south seeking end or south pole, right? So, in a freely suspended magnet, the end of the magnet which points towards the north direction, it is called north seeking end or north pole, and the other end of the magnet which points toward the south is called south seeking end or south pole, right? So let's look at this picture. See, these are the poles of the magnet. Okay, this is horseshoe magnet, and these two are the ends of it. At this side, the magnet is the most magnetism is there. All right. Of course, this hole is magnet, but the most magnetism, the maximum force would be here. All right. So this is south and this is north. That is S pole and N pole. Similarly, this is bar magnet and this is S pole and this is N pole. All right. Now, the next question here is that can these poles be isolated? Can we, divide this poles? Can we make them separate? So, look at this. See, it was found that if we cut magnet into two, see, this is your bar magnet, this is south pole and this is north pole. Now, if we cut it further, then this we can see that there are two magnets now. But still, we cannot isolate the north and south poles. Instead, we will end up with two separate magnets and each with its own north pole and south pole. So here, even if we cut this bar magnet into two, each piece would have its own south pole and north pole. If we further cut these two magnets, okay, then we would have four magnets. And even these four magnets will have their own north and south poles. And if we continue doing this process, okay, then even however smaller magnets can get, but it will have its north and south pole. All right. So we can say that magnet has two poles, north and south. These poles always exist in pairs and we can never have an isolated north pole or south pole. All right. And the next thing we can say here is, see, unlike poles, let me show you here this picture. Wait, I think I have lost that picture. Let me get it back. Oh yes, I have it here. Fine. So see, the next thing we can see here is that unlike poles attract and like poles repel each other. Now let's understand this. See, unlike means they are not same and like means they are same. So this person is trying to, this is freely suspended bar magnet, okay? They have just hang it over here. So it is freely suspended bar magnet. This person is trying to take the north and north together. All right. With that, what happened is this north pole would come back here and this south pole would be here. So you can find something like this. See, we'll find something like this happening. The north pole would be near to the south pole. So with this, we can say that unlike poles attract and like poles repel. So this is like poles. So it will go far away. That is, it will move itself. So it will repel. And these are unlike poles. So they will attract each other. Alright. So this is one of the very important properties of magnet. That is, unlike poles attract and like poles repel each other. Alright. So what we have seen, हम बात कर रहे थे पोल्स ऑफ मैग्नेट्स की. मैग्नेट को दो पोल होते हैं, नॉर्थ पोल और साउथ पोल. ऑलराइट. जो नॉर्थ, अगर हम फ्रीली सस्पेंड करें किसी भी मैग्नेट को और अगर वो नॉर्थ डायरेक्शन में सेटल होता है तो वो जो उसका एंड है उसको हम नॉर्थ पोल या नॉर्थ सीकिंग पोल कहेंगे. और अगर कोई एंड साउथ डायरेक्शन में सेटल होता है तो हम उसको साउथ सीकिंग एंड या साउथ पोल कहेंगे. अगर हम किसी भी मैग्नेट को कट करें तो उसके जो दो पोल्स है उसको हम सेपरेट नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज विथ ईच ऑफ द आइसोलेटेड पीस वी विल फाइंड दैट दोनों पोल्स उसमें होते हैं. मतलब पोल्स को हम आइसोलेटेड नहीं कर सकते. ठीक है. इसका मतलब है कि मैग्नेट को दो पोल्स होते हैं, नॉर्थ पोल एंड साउथ पोल, दोनों को हम आइसोलेट नहीं कर सकते. राइट. और उसकी एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट उसका एक फीचर है मैग्नेट का, प्रॉपर्टी है उसकी, वो ये है कि अनलाइक पोल्स, मतलब जो डिफरेंट पोल्स होते हैं जैसे नॉर्थ एंड साउथ, सो अनलाइक पोल एक दूसरे को हमेशा अट्रैक्ट करते हैं और उसके जो लाइक पोल्स हैं वो हमेशा रिपेल करते हैं, मतलब एक दूसरे से दूर चले जाते हैं. सो दिस वाज अबाउट पोल्स ऑफ मैग्नेट.